Ciao ragazzi, you already know what it is. It's JJ Coyle here with Team Azzurri with the Euro 2020 final preview. Italy versus England, the last two teams standing. It's the Three Lions against the Azzurri. It's going to be historic. England in their first final in 55 years. The last final at Wembley when they won that World Cup. I think it was in black and white. It's before I was born for sure. And Italy, the Azzurri, on for 34 games undefeated. If they win this, they're on 33 now. 35, the measuring stick for all-time greatness. That's what's at stake here. History. But let's touch on the semi-finals first. And wow, what a grueling game for Italy. I bet the English players were licking their lips, looking at what Italy had to suffer to come out with that victory for 120 minutes and then dreaded penalty shootout. But I don't think we did that bad. I really don't. I know we were dominated on a lot of facets of the game. We wanted more possession. But in transition, when we did get the ball, I thought we looked a constant threat. And I wasn't surprised that we took the lead with Chiesa. Another tremendous finish right in the far corner. And I think this is why I've said in the past that when he doesn't score or get on the score sheet or produce an assist, it's why I'm a little bit disappointed with him, because I know he's got that quality to make the difference pretty much every time he goes on the pitch. And it was worrying to see him limping towards the end of the game. Chiesa will be massive for Italy if they're going to do something at Wembley and win this final. Also in the penalty shootouts, Donnarumma, what a fantastic record he has from penalties in Serie A for AC Milan. And I think I was relaxed going into the penalty shootout for some strange reason, because obviously we don't have a good history in penalties. You think about Italia 90, Argentina, 94 Brazil, the Baggio moment, 98, the Di Biagio against France. It's not been good from us from 12 yards. Of course, except the 2006 World Cup in Berlino, when we were perfect from the spot. But Donnarumma, such a big figure in the goal, and he waits until the penalty struck. There's none of these antics on the line. Really decisive with where he's going to go. Pulled out a great save. In tears after the game. Man of the match performance. Pulled out some good saves in the game as well. Happy for Donnarumma. And of course we have to mention Jorginho, the latest man to enter the Euro Penalty Hall of Fame after Totti in 2000, his little Panenka, and Pirlo's Panenka against England in 2012. Well, Jorginho's hop, skip and trickling to the bottom right-hand corner. It's an absolute thing of beauty if you're an Italian fan, let me tell you. And what about England? Conceding the first goal in the tournament so far. Not giving away much, even though they've not really played much. But what a free kick from Damsgaard. And what struck me about the free kick was how small Pickford looked, trying to get a fingertip to it. And I think although it wasn't in the corner, I think it's because the free kick goes over the crossbar and just dips at the last moment. You really have to time that kind of dive just right. And I wonder if Lorenzo Insigne is going to get any free kicks from the edge of the area against England. But a good recovery, has to be said. England really put in a really good performance. And the main man was Raheem Sterling, there's no doubt about it. What a save from Kasper Schmeichel, point blank range, pulling out the Peter Schmeichel starfish. But it was the run from Sterling. See, the thing is with Sterling is that when he's got the ball, he's always penetrating. And in the era of VAR, things can always happen as they did. But he's just as effective when he doesn't have the ball, arriving into the box, unmarked, in the middle of the goal, just looking for them tap-ins. And even though he didn't get that first goal, he certainly put the pressure on the defender to put in his own net. I don't think I blame him for the penalty. Of course, it was soft. Looked like a dive. In fact, it was a dive. Let's be clear about that. There's no doubt in my mind it was a dive. And I think if you're looking on VAR, you can see it's a dive because there is contact. First of all, outside the box where it's a foul and he's played on. But second of all, when he gets in the box, there's a slight contact. But as he goes to plant his foot, he pulls it away and theatrically falls to the ground. That's where you know that's not a natural reaction. That's where you know he's trying to buy something. And the referee 100% bought it. I don't think the referee caved into the pressure of the fans or was cheating. I just think that decision not to give Harry Kane a penalty and book him for diving maybe played on his mind, given the fact that he was fouled and of course did go down very easy. But I think that played on his mind when he saw contact and he made the decision. But when you think about it, Denmark with one top-class player in Christian Eriksen, you know, who the whole world was stunned by his temporary loss of life. And the courage Denmark showed to come back and have such a fantastic tournament the way they did. Kasper Schmeichel, immense in goal. For them to go out on a decision like that, brutal. But I do think England would have gone on and won it. It's just a shame the referee gave them that helping hand. And the reason I say this is because you don't want a decision, a dubious decision, to decide games of this magnitude. You know, whether it's for your team or against your team. You know, we've had the odd handball decision or Chiellini's goal. There's been some decisions that we've looked at, but in the end, I'd be happy to win without them decisions. You just want the best team who deserves to win. You do not want the referee influencing the game where it doesn't need to be influenced. You're not the star of the show. You're just there to have parity. And it looks like Roberto Mancini is going to go with the same 11. Emerson at left back. And obviously, minus Spinazzola. But I thought Emerson did okay in the time he played. He was clearly fouled after his marauding run and wasn't rewarded with a free kick. And he does get forward. He does penetrate forward. I've got no concerns with Emerson coming in there, but obviously Spinazzola is a miss. Arguably our player of the tournament. And with Chiesa limping towards the end of the game, I just wonder if that could tip the balance to England. I mean, let's make this clear. In my lifetime, nearly 39 years, Italy have always been a better team than England. You know, and the results show it. It's not just me sat here with a flag behind me saying we're better. It's in Italia 90 on our home turf. Yeah, we beat them 2-1. We were good value for it. Baggio was causing them all sorts of nightmares. Scratchy putting away the penalty. And then we had that penalty shootout where Pirlo ran the midfield all game. And even though we won on penalties, with Pirlo's Panenka, one of the highlights, you have to think that the English media on that occasion gave us credit because they knew that we'd absolutely dominated them throughout that game. And then there's the World Cup where Balotelli rolls at the back post, heading home, cancelling out. I believe it was Daniel Sturridge's back post finish. And then I can also recall Gianfranco Zola scoring at Wembley, slightly deflecting off Sol Campbell. So as I said, when these two nations do battle, and it's not just when they've done battle, obviously we've got 4 stars compared to their 1, and they've not been in a final for 55 years. Whereas by the time before I was even 1, we'd won the World Cup in 82. 94 finalists, 2000 finalists, 2006 winners, 2012 finalists. And as a nation, really losing our way, especially not qualifying for that last World Cup. And seeing England draw Sweden, the team that we failed to break down in over 2 games, home and away. He just felt like that was a chance missed. We could have been playing England in the World Cup quarter-final, and I think we would have beat them. You look at that midfield that didn't make it to the World Cup. Had Verratti and De Rossi, Insigne on the left, Candreva on the right. Just really run by a poor tactician in Gianpiero Ventura. He just didn't read the warning signs against Spain. Didn't come up with the solutions against Sweden. It's always that everlasting image of him trying to put Daniele De Rossi on, and Daniele De Rossi looking at him saying, "Why are you bringing me on? We need a goal. Put Insigne on." Well, guess what? Mancini's in charge, and Insigne is playing. He is the number 10. And he's going to have a big game if Italy are going to win the final on Sunday. But just looking at the main threats, England really having a lot of joy through Raheem Sterling. As I mentioned, it's not just when he's got the ball, it's when he's not got the ball as well. You know, the directness. This player has changed into a player with good dribbles who can draw a foul, to a guy who's got a lot of goals. Almost reaching world class a couple of years ago, and then just suffering a dip. But one of Manchester City's most productive players in their championship runs. And of course, Harry Kane, now off the mark. You know, if you said to me, who would you rather have, Harry Kane or Ciro Immobile? Loyalties aside, I'd have to go with Harry Kane. And I think for Harry Kane in this game, he might want to do what Dani Olmo did in terms of just dropping a little bit deeper, because he can play that role and get his wingers involved, and not give Chiellini or Bonucci a focal point. But if he does get a chance, you're expecting to bury it. Another thing that Harry Kane brings to the table has to be a simulation. I mean, he does go down very, very softly and easily, but at the same time, you know, wins crucial free kicks, helps the team retain possession, gets them up the pitch. And there's a reason why he's England's number 1 striker. A bit of a hybrid between Shearer and Sheringham. He can create and he can score goals. I think if you look back at that last World Cup semi-final against Croatia, his decision not to pass it to Sterling cost him a World Cup final place. Will he be putting it right? Chiro, on the other hand, very disappointed with him against Belgium and not really much better against Spain. But what he did do was he ran all day against a team that were just keeping the ball. And because of his direct penetration, running in behind consistently, there's an out ball. There's a pass out for the players to get out of defence, to get in transition. And that's where Chiesa was able to get his goal from. So he does offer value, even if it is just in hard work. And hopefully he's got his scoring boots on for the final. I know he must be hungry. He stated a couple of weeks ago he wanted to bury the memories of not going to the World Cup, and he's hoping to do that this Euros. Well, he's kind of halfway there. Still have our reservations, but if we're the winners come Sunday, whether or not he scores, he'll have certainly offered his value. The Federico Chiesa decision to play him again, though, if we go with the same 11, if he's fatigued, if he's coming off at the end of the Spain game, can he really do 90, 120 minutes? And if he can't do it, should we even start him? I mean, forgive me for even considering questioning Mancini. He certainly knows best. But it takes me back to the 94 World Cup a little bit, when Baggio started the final and he clearly wasn't fit to. And you're just thinking, maybe he could have started Zola, brought Baggio on late in the game if it was still close. You know, Chiesa could be massive for us with 20, 25 minutes to go. Legs are getting tired, as I said. At them moments in the game, if England do sit at the edge of, on the halfway line and press Italy, the out ball from Chiesa is always there. And Berardi, he's looking bright. He's a bright player. And I think I expect this game to see Italy have more possession. I think our midfield is country miles ahead of England's. Verratti, there was a reason why he came straight back into the team. Jorginho, his simplicity is his key, his strength. He doesn't overcomplicate nothing. He has a clear idea, but he's also playing direct passing, penetrative passing, and passing forwards and helping the rhythm of the team. And you already know what I think of Barella. He's a difference maker. You know, you look at Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice, and they're just there to kick a few people and keep it simple and protect. Occasionally, they'll make a move forward. I think England's strengths are going to be coming from the the fullbacks, sorry. You've got Luke Shaw, who's had a good impact, probably rivaling Spinazzola for the left back in team of the tournament. Big assist there against Germany. And just showing a good output, maybe responding to Mourinho's negative comments about him. But also, under the radar, Kyle Walker. Bullying people. Shrugging them out of the way. And then occasionally, he just goes on one of his runs. Very fast, experienced. And just them runs, even if he doesn't get the ball, it asks more questions. It draws more people out. It opens more space. I think the fullbacks complementing the wingers that England have, where they're going to have the opportunity, especially with Di Lorenzo not looking really comfortable, even when switched to left back. And that Doku, that penalty that was conceded to Doku, something that Sterling will be looking at, thinking, let me get him at one-on-one. Let me attack him. And obviously, when you look at finals, it's not really about just playing well. It's about winning them. I mean, Italy were really sensational in 2006 when we won the tournament. Didn't really have the best final. Conceding that penalty that weren't a penalty early, just no contact. Another dive. that could have cost us a World Cup. But a great response in the first half. But then after that, we weren't able to kick on and build momentum. The Zidane sending off, pretty crucial. There's no doubt he would have taken a penalty. And also, knowing that Zidane was no longer on the pitch, such an influential player for France at the time. Then I look back to my very first Euros that I was able to go to in Rotterdam when Italy played France off the park, the world champions, the favourites. Completely outplayed them, but only managed to get that 1-goal lead. A bit of Totti magic, Del Vecchio finishing it off. We thought we'd won it. Del Piero with 2 good opportunities to put it to bed. And we were the better team. We deserved it, but we didn't win it. And no one remembers that. They just remember the winners. The point being, it's not really about turning up, having a good performance. It's just about getting the job done. Does anybody care that Spain were, for large parts, better than Italy in the last game? No one cares. Italy are through, they're out. They had double the chances, 3 times more dangerous moments in the game than Italy had. But wasteful. No one's remembering the losers. They're only going to remember the winners. What about Manchester United when they won the treble in 99? Completely outplayed in the final without Keane and Scholes in the middle of the park, but then got them 2 late goals in injury time. And the heroes immortalised the treble winners. And that's the thing with these finals. It's not about playing well, and playing well doesn't guarantee you anything. It's about moments. It could be sendings off. It could be a moment of magic, moment of quality, or a penalty, a dubious decision. And it's not just the big decisions that can make an impact. It's the little decisions too. It's a couple of times, as I said, Emerson brought down in his tracks on a really good counter-attack against Spain. Should have had a free kick in Insigne territory. Didn't materialise. And then when Barella won the ball back from Busquets, but Busquets simulated to win a free kick. It's them little moments there that if the referee allows the play to go on or gives the free kick in the first instance, can change the game. What I want to see from Italy, starting at the back, I want Chiellini's passing to be better. A couple of times, not hitting his passes, and then going back to Donnarumma. And all of a sudden, 10-15 minutes later, Italy with no possession. Di Lorenzo against Belgium early, giving the ball away. Just be tidier. Just get a nice, simple, easy pass. Get it into Verratti and Jorginho. Although what Spain did well, playing with the false 9, is they hounded Verratti and Jorginho. So we didn't have that focal point who can find that out ball straight away. But that Chiesa goal, 13 seconds from keeper to the back of the net. That's what Italy can do in transition. And so, really, they're going to look to go into this game and almost have a performance like they did against Belgium. Not a performance like they did against Spain. And I don't think there's many teams that can play like Spain. Maybe Argentina, maybe Brazil. But even then, both of them teams are more direct. There's no team that's going to play like Spain. And England on their best day can only hope to resemble an image of Belgium. The question is, can Italy press them high up the pitch and get a control in the game? Can they get a foot in the game early? That's what Italy need to do. So that Harry Kane's feeding off long balls. And what England need to do is find the wingers. Take a high line where they have 2 holding midfielders just sitting, and there's absolutely no out ball for Italy to play to. But I think England could be dominated or could be outplayed and still win. And I think Italy could be outplayed and still win. We've seen England against Germany for large spells in the first half. Germany had the better chances. They got the moment and scored. And we've seen Italy against Spain. Not really having much possession, but yet in a quick moment. And even then, in extra time, Belotti, if he could have just found that pass to Berardi, he would have been clean through. Not a difficult pass to do. I really do feel like if it was on a even playing field and both teams were healthy, there'd be no doubt in my mind this current Azzurri on a 33-game unbeaten record, I think they'd be comfortable against England. But the fact of the matter is we've had two massive wars, one against Belgium and one against Spain. Spinazzola, we've lost our best player. Chiesa looked a bit crooked. How much have they got left in the tank, especially if the game goes later on? England, Ukraine, barely breaking a sweat despite playing in Rome. The Denmark gift from the referee. Full credit for getting through the German performance, but they didn't exactly dismantle them. They just took the chances. Only conceding one goal. If England can keep the game level, get the first goal, and take it into the 70th, 80th minute, level or with a lead, I think it'll start to favour England. They've got better options off the bench. And I think their strongest areas, the Grealishes, the Fodens, Sterling, they all like a dribble. You know, from having not many dribblers in the squad to having quite a few penetrative dribblers that can cause these fouls, really penetrate Italy. And that's where Italy need to be on the guard around the fullbacks. Can England get at Italy's fullbacks? Can Italy sustain the high press? And then who's going to step up with the big moments? We've seen Insigne step up with a big moment. We've seen Barella. I think this could be a game for Barella. But I also like the idea of Berardi. He's due a goal. No goals this tournament. 6 in 7 for Italy coming into the tournament. He has got a left foot on him. Immobile. Surely you can't be immobile forever. Surely you due one of your goals. What a better time to do it than in the final at Wembley against the hosts. So which either way this falls, there's going to be history. Mancini frustrated that Italian fans not allowed to travel to Wembley. Stadium filling out. It's going to be hostile. But let's remind you, Italy, not bad against playing host nations. Euro 2000 away to Belgium. Victory. Semi-finals against Holland. Down to 10 men. Lost 2 penalties. But won in the penalty shootout against the host nation. A lot of character shown then. And what about Germany? The semi-finals. And I end on the Germany game. Because I thought that was Lippi's signature moment. And I think that's what the difference was between us winning the World Cup on that occasion compared to other times. The way he went for the jugular. If you want to win this game, you can't outlast your opponent. Or you can. But the way to win it is to grab the bulls by the horn. take your chances, put pressure on the opposition, and go out there and win the game. And the way Lippi gambled with all them forwards against Germany in extra time. And that's why I say, from an English perspective, even if they don't play a good game, which they haven't for a lot of the tournament, if they can just keep it close and then go for the jugular a bit later, send their attacking threats on against Italy's less than convincing fullbacks, they could have an opportunity. So I say all that to say that either team might play better but still lose. Anyone can win it. But as always, you know who I'm backing, don't you? Tifosi Azzurri. So let's see if football's coming home or if the trophy is going back to Rome. Ciao ragazzi, thanks for listening. JJ Coyle with Team Azzurri. If you like the content, give us a like. Feel free to subscribe for future content. And let's see who's going to create history. Come on, Italia. Let's put on a performance, shall we? Grazie. Ci vediamo un'altra volta.